Welcome to Elliot's PT podcast. I'm here to help you find your balance and live your best life guilt-free. I don't believe there is a one-size-fits-all approach for health and fitness. We're all different and we need to find out what works for us. I'm passionate about helping people make realistic, long-term lifestyle changes that they will stick to and they will take with them forever. I don't believe in crazy diets or short-term fixes. We all need to live and find a perfect balance in diet and exercise that suits our individual needs. I want to help you find your exercise mojo, feel great and achieve wonderful things. Here is Elliot's PT podcast by Renee Elliott. Hello, and welcome back to Elliot's PT podcast. Okay, today I want to talk about your body and feeling more confident within your body. And I really believe that to be more confident in your body, we really need to learn to understand it more. And a lot of us, I think, are going through things in life and not truly understanding how our body works or what things are for our body or not for our body. And I feel the more that you understand this, you will have more freedom. So the more habits that you start to create, the better understanding you have in your life and of your body, the more freedom you will have and you will be more confident within your body. Now, there is lots of us that may have struggled with body image over the years. We may be doing things that, we didn't really, maybe doing things over the years that affect the confidence that we have in our bodies. And, we may have learned things from our parents, or the people around you. And unfortunately, these days, there is so much more of it. Social media and all of those things. I think it's really important to start to strip things back and to just focus on you and what is really important to you. And this is probably something that I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about before or paying attention to, but it is something that is so important in overall life. And for me, I want everybody to be able to understand your body and really have and love your body for where it's at and for what it can do and appreciate it and stop letting these negative thoughts hold you back from life. A couple of years ago, I interviewed my gran who's in her 80s and I was asking her about body confidence and she appreciated, she's in her 80s, she's appreciated and loves her body so much. And a lot of us, you're in the prime of your life. And we are spending all this time hating our bodies for what it can do. And, in 40 years or so, your body might not be able to do things because it has been around for a long time. So let's appreciate it now instead of holding yourself back from doing the things you really want to do or spending time with your kids. Stop holding it back and really start appreciating your body. Firstly, what is body confidence? So body confidence is accepting and celebrating your own body as it is this very moment. It's also celebrating the same thing in other people. We should have, we don't want any body shaming, no pressure to fit into a cookie cutter image. The really scary thing is somebody was showing me the other day this artificial intelligence that there is now. And there is apps now that you could go into and you can say, I want a picture of a chiseled man with a snow hat on. And they will design this picture and it's not even a real person. And when you look at it, it looks like a real person. So it's so scary to think the images that you're seeing on social media, that you're seeing in magazines or things, they might not even be real people. This app that you could put in anything and it would design what you've described. And it looks like it's amazing. It's amazing what it can do, but it's also really scary for the body image because body image and how we view ourselves and we think we should look a certain way we're looking at these pictures and it's not even a real person. And it's quite frightening in one way to think what we've got these images in our head of how we think we should look, and the things that we're seeing is just not even true. I'm going to give you this body confidence or lack of body confidence, really starts at a young age, and obviously with more social media stuff now, it is starting younger and younger. But I'm going to read you out some statistics because it's quite frightening. So 42% of girls in grades 1 to 3 want to lose weight. 45% of boys and girls in grades 3 to 6 want to be thinner. 51% of 9 and 10-year-old girls say they feel better about themselves when they are dieting. Oh, it shocks me. 81% of 10-year-olds are afraid of being fat. And 89% of girls have dieted by the age of 17. It's really scary when you look at these, what these stats are, because the thing is that you can make the difference at home for yourself, but also for your children, because you need to be urging people to be more mindful about how they speak and what they say. I meet so many women in here that have really distorted images, distorted views of their own body, but also distorted eating because of things that's come from their parents. And, it's time now, if you can take charge, truly understand your body, understand how your body works, and you take charge and give your kids the right message. Let them truly understand their body, not this. I have people that have, they're dieted their whole life because of things that come from their parents. And I really want that to stop. So more statistics are, in the US, a study found that 50% of women were dissatisfied with their bodies. Almost a quarter of the women reported frequently weighing or comparing their bodies to others. In a study of 1,000 women aged 30 to 74 in Switzerland, it found that even though 73% of the women surveyed were in a normal weight range, more than 70% of them wanted to be thinner. And this was true for women of all ages. A quarter of women in Australia reported their feelings of self-worth were linked to their appearance. And it's not only for women, there is stuff for men. 45% of men were dissatisfied with their shape of their bodies. And a study in France, more than 85% of young men who were surveyed said they weren't satisfied with their muscularity. And a study in Australia said 15% of men reported their self-worth was again tied to their appearance. So, it's not just women. But can you just imagine what it would be like to not live with these worries, to understand how your body works, to truly understand your body and to accept it. And, a lot of this necessary stress and negative energy could all be eliminated. And we can spend more time focusing on the things that really bring us joy and the things we want to, not from living at a life of restriction or not being able to do things or holding back because of a fear of how you look or because that you don't weigh a certain number. Your kids don't care what you weigh. They care what you do with them. These negative images about our bodies can really happen at any time in our life. It's just time to make the choice that you can make a change, and let's look at loving our bodies and accepting it for what it is. How do I feel that you could get this? So I really feel the more that you understand your body, how it truly works, you will have this better love and appreciation for your body. What I find with a lot of women, that they don't understand their body enough, and they don't understand their cycle. So your cycle is something that really affects your weight. So you may have been brought up weighing yourself on the scales, and a big thing that I teach in all the programs that we run is understanding that is looking at things like from a scientist's point of view. And we've got to get all the information and put it all together and work out trends. And from then you can understand and appreciate your body a lot more. So let's look at your cycle. Okay. So your cycle, let's say you have a regular cycle, or maybe your cycle is irregular. If it's irregular, well, then that's something that you want to work out why. But let's say, there is going to be, it's roughly, let's say with a 28-day cycle, there is times of the month where you're going to weigh more, and this is unique to you, and you need to work it out for your own body. And regardless of where you're at in life, as in if you've gone through menopause, if you are on the contraceptive pill, any of those things, wherever you're at, if you've had a hysterectomy, any of those things, you still have some form of a cycle, okay? And with everybody, we've been able to work out trends and get them to understand their body better from understanding their cycle. There will be times of the month that you will weigh more. It doesn't mean that you've put on fat. It means that at that point in time, your hormones are against you and you will weigh more. So it's something you can do nothing about, okay? That is a hormonal thing. There is times of the month where you will crave more food and your body will want more types of foods. It will crave more carbohydrates, and that is okay. Start listening to your body and stop depriving it and giving it what it needs. Give it what it needs. There is times of the month that is more optimal for you to lose weight because of where your hormones are aligned. So we will be more optimal to lose weight in the first kind of 2 weeks of your cycle. There is times of the month where you'll feel more attractive. There's times of the month that you'll be more fatigued. Times of the month you'll feel more like going out because of where your hormones are at. The times of the month you just want to stay at home. And lots of this stuff is out of your control. But the more that you can understand it, you can stop fighting against your body. And, I know so my period is, it's something that doesn't really bother me. I don't get severe symptoms or any of those things. And I know lots of women that have really rough periods or times. So I just thought my cycle was nothing. I didn't even bother to track it. And, but yeah, then I started tracking it. And then I realized my personality also is the personality just to kind of push through. And yeah, I started tracking my cycle and I realized I do have quite severe symptoms. And now I actually listen to my body. And I remember one day my husband came home and I was sitting on the couch and he was like, looks at me, he's like, what's wrong? What are you doing? And that's what I needed to do. The more that, and we try to get all women to understand their bodies, but there's times of the month where you might not be able to lift as heavy weights. It doesn't mean that you're not as strong. It means, again, that your hormones, that's where your hormones are at, and that you might need to go lighter in the weights. You might need to, not do as hard of a session because you're more fatigued. But the more you can understand this, you stop giving it a meaning. And this is what I feel, that people have this lack of truly understanding their body, and then they start to give things meaning. And then they give it a meaning about themselves that just makes them feel crappy. And, they give it this meaning. So, God, last week I was lifting this and this week I'm not. Oh, I'm obviously a failure. So you start to, this week I can't lift this weight, so I'm obviously a failure, or, people have been, they've got a goal of weight loss and then they get on the scales and they realize that they weigh more. Oh, it's not working. I'm going to change. Well, the thing is, it actually is working. It's just that you're in the time of month where your hormones are against you, and it is really, really pretty much impossible to lose weight at that point. Doesn't mean you're fat, doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that's where your hormones are at. So when you have this understanding, we can stop beating ourselves up. We can stop giving it a meaning about ourselves. It is just, the thing I want people is, everything is data. It is just data, and we're looking at the information. And you need to look at everything from a whole point of view, not just from what that number says on the scales. So, we want to look at the scales. If you have access to a body composition scale, then you can see what your muscle mass is like. You can, look at your measurements. You can look at, your fitness tests. Like if you've increased in your fitness tests, all of those things. It's all data, and we need to collate it all together to be able to understand everything better, not just look at it from one point of view. So the first thing is, the more that you understand your body, the more you can really love it and appreciate it. And definitely learning to understand your cycle is really, really important. Now, I did a podcast a while ago. I will try to link it up for you. That really goes more into depth into your cycle. If you don't understand your cycle, go back and listen to that podcast. The next thing I think people really need to understand, or to get a better grip of, is understanding their food. And how to really fuel their bodies correctly. Because lots of times times when we don't understand our food properly, or you're not eating the right amounts of food to fuel your body correctly, we are going to feel really shitty. And then you tend to more binge on food. And what I find, most people are under eating, and they're trying to eat less and less and less food in order to, say, lose weight. But there gets to a point where your body's just, it's not going to live in this restriction anymore. And it can't, you can't get to a point of eating, nothing, because we can't survive. And there's just there's people go, oh, but I'm eating, 1,200 calories or 800 calories or any of those things. And, that is, it is not enough food. Not enough food for you. And, when we learn to fuel our bodies correctly and we have a balance of the protein, fats and carbohydrates, your body will just love you for it. And you will have more energy. You will feel like doing more things, running around, doing more things with your kids. And, you will stop that binge cycle. What I find happens a lot is people, they don't eat enough food, and then they binge. Then they start to binge on food, and then they beat themselves up, and then the cycle starts again. Or they think they've done something wrong, and they think they've blown their diet. But the thing to understand that all these things are against you. The diet of 1,200 calories or 800 calories, any of those things, is not enough food for you to survive. So of course you're going to go binge, because you might be able to do it for a few days, you might be able to do it for a week, but it's not something that you can live with long term. And everything that we do is all about making sure that you can stick to this long term. So really, really understanding how to fuel your body and eating the foods that makes you feel good. It is not just about, we need these soul foods too. And it's not just about eating lettuce leaves and, boiled chicken. It is finding this nice balance. And I say to everyone, if you can't stick to it forever, then we don't do it. Because this has to be something that you can stick to forever. So then you will get the long-term results that you want. And truly understanding your body and understanding what works for your body and how to make it feel good, a massive amount of that is really learning how to fuel your body correctly. Now, I am not against the scales. I like the scales. I think it's a piece of data that we want to look at. So a lot of people, in the body positivity, areas all talk about just not weighing yourself, but it's just a piece of data. And I think it's that we give this a meaning, but when we take in the data, so I'm looking at my food and I want to understand my food. When we want to understand our cycle and how that affects our body. And to understand that more, you will see, if you weigh yourself, you will notice trends. And I love it. Not that long ago, I had, somebody that had been doing a program with us, and she messaged me, and she has a weight loss goal. And she'd messaged me, and her weight had gone up, but she knew that there was no possible way that she knew that it was water weight and that it was hormones, because she was understanding her body better, and then she was stopping beating herself up, and her weight is now consistently coming down because that she understands her body better, and she's not beating herself up for getting on the scales and thinking that she's a kilo heavy. She's like, I understand that there is no way that I could have. I think her weight had fluctuated in about 3 kilos. There is no way that I've put on 3 kilos, overnight or, within a couple of days. So she knew that. And this is what I'm saying. There's, the scale is a piece of data. It is just a piece of data for you to understand your body and what's working with your body better. And all of this is going to lead to you having more body confidence, because you are going to trust your own body. And that's what I feel a lot of us don't. We don't appreciate it. We don't love it. We don't understand it enough to understand why it's doing things. A really big thing is, is also understanding muscle mass and understanding how that works. And by having the body composition scales gave me the best understanding. So when I first started doing the body scans on myself, and this is something that we do as part of our, Goal Getter program, as part of our Little Black Dress, all of those things. You actually get it as a part of your membership to here when you first start. You get a scan as well. So this gives you data. So you can look at, obviously it shows your weight, but it shows your muscle mass. What we want to do is we want to lose weight whilst maintaining that muscle mass. And it's really important to maintain that muscle mass. And again, and this is where linking understanding your food links with this too. It's really hard to lose weight and put on, it is hard to lose weight and put on muscle at the same time. So again, depending on what your goal would be as to how you would do that. But when I first started scanning myself, I think I weighed 75 kilos and I, for whatever reason, decided that I wanted to weigh 70 kilos. I think I was going back to this, what I weighed when I was younger. So anyway, between scans, I had got myself down to 70 kilos and then I rescanned. But in that process, I had lost 3 or so kilos of muscle. So I was better off when I weighed 70. But if I hadn't had this body composition scan, I would have looked at the data. I would have looked at my weight on the scales, because I'm only looking at one thing here. I would have looked at that and I would have went, oh yeah, I've lost weight. I'm better off because that number was lighter. But out of that, I'd lost muscle, and muscle is so important. The more muscle we have, most people, if you are looking for a more toned look, I say toned in inverted commas, you need to have more. The muscle is what's going to do that. If you want to be stronger in things, the more muscle you have, the better. The muscle attaches to your bones. It protects that. Being able to have our daily movements and the things we can all do is all from your muscles. So they're really, really important. And I had lost 3 kilos of muscle. So I was better off, weighing more and having more muscle mass than what I was when I was lighter. And if I'd never done a body composition scan, I wouldn't understand that. And it really changed how I looked at my body, because I wanted to look at more than just that scale. I wanted to look at all the other aspects. And this is what I'm asking you to do, is to start looking, to understand and to feel more confident within your body, to start looking at, all the aspects. So understanding your muscle mass and how important that is. And most people, our goal is, if they have a weight loss goal, it is to reduce your body fat percentage whilst maintaining that muscle mass. And again, the same thing is people, which you understand, they might lose some fat, but they might put on muscle. So they've actually lost more weight than what they've realized. So again, it's understanding that, truly understanding that. So then what you're doing is working. You can be consistent with it and not give up, because that's what I find. Most people are not consistent, and it's things are not happening quick enough, and it's not happening quick enough. So then they chop and change. And when you chop and change, that's the thing that you're not going to get the results you want, because you're changing so much. So I believe to love and to understand, to love your body more and to accept your body and have more body confidence, there is quite a few things that we need to understand first. And how you work and how your friend works is different. So you've got to work out the trends for yourself and how it affects you. So I want people to start to understand their cycle more and how their cycle affects them. I want them to understand food and how to fuel your body correctly and what makes you feel good, what makes you bloated. So there's different foods that I know that bloat me. I don't eat them, but I don't feel like I'm missing out. I don't eat them because I don't enjoy how they make me feel. And that's something that I feel is really, really important, is understanding how stuff makes you feel, your food or any of that stuff. So we want to understand our cycle, understand how to fuel your body correctly, and really truly understand your measurements by looking at your muscle mass, understanding how important that is and how much we want to maintain that. And a big thing, if you don't have a body composition scan, when you weigh yourself, do your measurements. So if you weigh yourself and you get up you get on the scales and the scale has gone up, but your body measurements have not changed, then you know that you've not put on fat, okay? And I think the other thing is truly understanding. People talk about weight loss, but they really want to lose fat. So it's fat loss because we need to maintain that muscle. We don't. And I had someone else that did a body. He was doing a detox. So he did a detox and he did a juice diet for a month or two, some amount of time. I think it was a month. Anyway, and he'd lost weight and he said he was feeling amazing, and he came in and he had lost exactly the same amount of muscle mass. He'd only lost muscle in that whole time. And when he told me what he was eating, I knew he was going to lose muscle, but because he had the scans, he could actually see the difference. And this is what I'm saying. It's understanding your body better. But yeah, do your waist measurement. And if your waist measurement, the scale's gone up and your waist measurement stays the same, then understand that you've not lost, that it's water. That's water. If your scale's gone up and your waist measurement's gone up, then obviously you're putting on fat. And again, it's just a piece of data. It's just to understand this. And what I say, and this is what I say about the whole scale thing, is the more that, we're not giving the scale meaning, it's just a check-in. And when you can check in and you can realize that you may have put some weight on, and instead of, keeping our head under the blankets and, not paying attention, but you realize and you go, oh, okay, I need to maybe zip my food in, or I need to make this change. That's why I love, my watch. My watch gives me data and I can understand more data. When my son broke his leg, my daily movement halved. And the only reason I knew that was because my watch told me. So my daily movement halved, but that was just a circumstance I was in. So again, I understood my body. I understood where my life was at that point. And that's just what I had to do. I can adapt my food to suit that I'm not moving as much, yes. But again, I don't give it a meaning. So, and this is where you truly understand your body. We don't give it meanings and we stop beating ourselves up about things. A big thing in loving and accepting your body, I think, is really focusing on what makes you feel good, not what we're doing for someone else. And we do things in life because people say we should do it, or we should look this way, or we should do this. The media is so in our face, but it's so confusing and conflicting, and people, that they target things deliberately. There's these drinks out at the moment, and they are all targeted. I was reading a thing about them that they're deliberately targeting young kids on YouTube and all of those things. And there's high amounts of caffeine and other things that they shouldn't even have, but they get the kids into it and addicted to it. So it's really understanding that everything in the media or everything that you see, there's always a hidden agenda. They have this hidden agenda, and, the agenda is to suit them, definitely not to suit you. What I want for everybody is to truly understand your body. And when we understand it more, I feel like you can love and accept it. And, I understand that, at different stages in my life, there's different exercise that works better for me, and or even how things are going or where we're at. There's different things that work better, and that's okay too. So sometimes I love running, and sometimes running is really good for me, and other times maybe when my stress is higher, maybe a more yoga is a better thing for me. They're two different types of workouts, but I'm listening to my body and working out what's best for me at the time. Instead of trying to thrash myself out, trying to run, where actually I need to just do a more quieter exercise. And, I want you to think, have you ever looked back at photos of you and seen yourself in a photo and been like, oh my God, I remember that time and I thought I was so fat, at the time. And then you look back at the photo and you're like, no, actually I look amazing, but I didn't think I was amazing then. And I know lots of women who've had those photos and they've looked back. And the thing is, I want us to feel amazing and accepting and loving of our bodies, of how it is now. And I think, that looking back at that old you or that old photo and thinking you're fat, then, are we going to get in 5, 10 more years' time? Look back at a photo of you now where you're hating your body or hating how you look, and realize that you actually look amazing. You look great. You're not fat. You're not overweight at all. And let's just start feeling that, looking at ourselves and picking out the good things, picking out the really good things about our body, think about what it can do. Let's focus on what your body can do. Our bodies are amazing. They obviously get us through life. They transport us, but it's the thing, it's the only thing that's with us for the whole of our lives. And you can look after it. We can look after it and care for it. And I just want people to be able to look at themselves in the mirror now and go, actually, I'm pretty good. I'm looking all right. And my body can do this. It can run if I need to run. It can move fast if I need to move fast. It can lift up my kids. It can carry the shopping, and we just need to appreciate all the things that our body can do instead of focusing on the things that we can't do, which a lot of times is just we've seen the wrong things, in social media. I teach this MetaFit class, and part of the class is a MetaFit course. So when I did this course, the MetaFit instructor was the guy that created MetaFit. He was saying he'd taken it to America and they were launching it. So they went and got fitness models to just show the exercises and that at the expo. And so he hired these fitness models, and they got there, and they may have looked the part, but they couldn't do the exercise. And then this next day, no one turned up. None of the fitness models came back because they were so tired and their muscles were that sore because so what I'm trying to say out of this is these people look a certain way, but they couldn't actually do the activity. So what I want you to really focus is what can your body do? What's the things that your body can do instead of focusing on looking this certain way, where these models, like they may have looked, but they couldn't actually do the exercise or they couldn't cope with it. And, the other thing is that what your body can do is what's going to get you through life. Whether I would prefer to weigh a little bit more and, know that I am strong, my body is able, I can lift up this and I can move in this way. That's my why, and that's what's important to me. And when you truly understand your body, you can come from a place of understanding what's important to you and where you want to be. Then you have body freedom, and that's my goal for everybody, to have this body freedom. So today, please, I want you to take some of my tips, and I want you to start paying attention to your body more. Start paying attention to what it can do and how it feels, instead of focusing on what you can't do. Focus on more of the positives, and start truly looking at all aspects of your body and how you can understand more. We are doing a Cherish Your Body program, which is all about letting go of guilt, embrace you for being you, and to find freedom within your body. So if you're listening to this before the 17th of April, make sure that you jump onto the website and you join up for the program. It is a program that you will have access to forever and for all the updates. And it is all about learning to understand your body more and appreciating it and really, truly loving it. So I'm going to leave you with that today. And if you know anybody that this would help, please share it on. And I look forward to speaking to you all soon. Okay, bye. Thanks for listening to the Elliot's PT podcast. I hope you have been able to find this information of use to you. If you know someone who might enjoy this podcast, please share it with them and ensure that you subscribe so you can be the first to know when new podcasts are released. If you have the time to leave a 5-star review, that would be amazing and it would be greatly appreciated. If you do so, please screenshot and share onto any of our socials and tag us. Then email the screenshot to hello@elliotspt.com and we will send you a free gift to your inbox. Thanks so much. Have an amazing day. Speak soon.